Hi everyone, my name is Carrie Lynn, and I have been performing miracles my entire life. And lately they've been coming up more often and much more often than I ever imagined. So I wanted to share with you some of the interesting miracles I've been performing, and it all started with a kitty. So one day, a friend of ours came over, and she was sitting on our deck, and she was telling us about someone that she knew that had lost her cat, and this cat has been missing for 30 days. We don't know where the cat is. And she came to me and she asked, is there anything that you could do to help me understand where my cat is, or can you find this cat for my friend? And so I went into the safe, silent space within my soul, and I felt for the energy of the cat, and I could see inside the eyes of the kitty. And the kitty was in a log, and it was by a patch of flowers. And the kitty was so hungry, and it was so scared. And I told my girlfriend this, and her friend went and put a post out about this cat in white flowers. And the next day, the cat was found in a patch of white flowers, exactly what I saw with this cat. And this cat's been gone for 30 days, and the cat was rescued and back to the owner and is okay. So that's story number one. So I have a Chinese red water dragon, and her name is Lady Amethyst. And this is Lady Amethyst right here. Say hi, Lady Amethyst. She is not camera shy at all. She's all about the photo shoots. If you ever seen her on Facebook, she has lots of looks. So about a week ago, Lady Amethyst was super sick. She had mouth rot, and it was on this side of her face, and it looked like she had a cleft lip. It was all rotten in there. She had all this stuff, goo, coming out of her mouth. I was very worried about her. I called 12 vets to find one that took lizards here, and there's not many that take lizards here actually, but she's actually a Chinese red water dragon. So I'm working with the violet fire of Saint Germain and truly understanding what the sacred fire does for your soul. And so I've been practicing what they've been teaching me, and I started working on Lady Amethyst, and within 3 days, Lady Amethyst was healed. And she never ever had to go to the vet, and she's eating again, and she's drinking water, and she has no more infection, and her gums are all pink again. They're not rotten, and she was healed in 3 days. So that happened. And so I started realizing I've been doing a lot of miracles lately. And then I started looking through the course of my life and went, wow, I've done a lot of miracles. I've done quite a few, to be honest, which I'll make other videos for. And I have saved souls from cancer, arthritis, and even demonic possession. And it's interesting that demonic possession is coming up a lot for me lately. Almost once a week, I am removing demonic entities out of human beings. And it's been pretty regular for the last month, to be honest. And I've been working on souls in different countries in India. I've also been working with souls right here in Victoria. And it's just been coming in from everywhere. And so I thought I would share some of the experiences I've had in these lands. Now, a bit of a backstory is I've been possessed before. Most people don't know this about me unless you've had a chance to chit-chat with me. You'll learn that I've gone through possession. I started feeling my first possession is when I was 16 years old, when this little boy came into the house in Okotoks where I lived. And he was like, I was in my living room, and this great big ball, this huge ball of light that was this big. Hold on, I gotta get a dragon. We're outside, she's gonna go and take off. And this big ball, like Wizard of Oz, Glenda, that kind of ball came in. And I was like, oh, this is a ball, what is this? And so I wanna put my hands in, I wanna touch it. Well, I put my hands in it. And then it went inside me. And then I started rocking back and forth like this. Just rocking. And it was like I was no longer there, as though my soul was sitting on a shelf and there was someone else in it. And my boyfriend at the time was over, and I told him that Carrie Lynn wasn't here anymore and that I'm here now. And I told him about my life of this little boy, and all I can remember, because it happened when I was 16 years old, but he was burned in a fire in the early 1800s underneath a cabinet and couldn't get out, and his soul couldn't escape. And now I understand why that soul came to me, because I've learned how to help transfer souls to the other side of consciousness, into the heavens of the gods of the heavens of Jesus. And I've been able to do that for a long time, but at the time when I was 16, I didn't know that was one of my gifts. I just learned this about 7 years ago. So I told him all this information, and he wrote single space, and he was a very small writer, so there was about 7 pages of this single space story of this person's life I needed to share. However, when I thought it was gone out of my body a couple days after, it actually never left. It stayed in my body till I was 36 years old. And what it did is it was able to tie a band around my emotional body, so I only had the emotional IQ of a 16-year-old child in a 35 or 37-year-old woman's body, and not understanding why I behave certain ways that are so childish. And I'm 37, this doesn't make sense. And that's when I realized I was still entangled in the possession. And the only reason we did that is my friend of mine was talking to me, and my other personality came out of me. And then she's like, "You're not Carrie Lynn, who are you?" And I told him my name, and then she's like, "Where are you from?" And I told him what longitude and latitude and the star universe I was from. And then I remember Archangel Michael going all the way to where the subfold cloud was, and there was a bunch of souls in there doing this to other human beings. And then they were removed, and they were taken to wherever they need to go at the time. And that happened to me when I was 37, but it stayed with me. And then when I was in my 18 to 24 time frame, I happened to attract men that had entities inside them that would find it really fun to put them inside me and then hurt me incredible amounts of pain for years. And I'm feeling the ability not to be able to leave, being terrified for your life, that something bad will happen to you if you go. And I experienced that at a very young age. And then by the time I was 28 years old, I wasn't doing so well, because I spent my entire life being bullied and put down and been treated like garbage by many people. So I had low self-esteem at the time, so that didn't help the situation. And I was doing well. I was just starting to build my own spa at the time, and this person came into my life, and things started to happen. And because of things that people can do that can open up portals that can bring entities in, that took place, and it came inside my body. And it lived inside me for 2 years. And it was a very uncomfortable, horrific life experience that I'm beyond grateful that I've had now, because I'm able to save so many souls that are possessed now, and so grateful that I was able to have the experience so young and to learn from it and to grow from it so quickly. Well, not quickly. It took 13 years, but we did it. So, or maybe 10. And the reason I understood possession so well is, before I was possessed, I was asked by a woman to help her daughter, and her daughter was only 13 years old at the time. And she was on all kinds of pills, all kinds of medication. They were going to put her in psychiatric care. She was doing things that was trying to murder her sister with knives, and they had to bring the knives away. They had to put away all the pill bottles. They had to do everything they had to do to keep all their children safe, and knew something wasn't right. And this girl was Catholic, and she was always hearing voices in her head, and they were always screaming at her. And it was worse when she was in school. And she's 6, she's 7, she's 8, and the doctors don't know what's wrong with her. She has multiple personalities. They don't know what it is. And so I met a woman a bit before that who recommended me to her when I noticed there was a demonic entity in her house when I was about 22 years old. And I was able to remove it because I was told by the angels how to do it, because I've always been taught by the angels directly, by the archangels, by ascended masters. I've been doing that indirectly my entire experience of living on this incarnation. So when I worked on this girl, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was taking a risk, because when you do demonic possession, you have an opportunity to die. You have an opportunity for it to come in your body. And you have an opportunity for your soul to be taken out. And that is the life risk you put on the line every single time you perform any kind of exorcism of demonics. And it's serious business. And I had no idea how. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And they're like, we'll teach you. And so every time I went to sleep at night, they taught me something I needed to know to do for the next day, and then I would do it. And then they would teach me something else when my dream time, and I remembered it. And then I would do it. And then I remember the last time I can't tell you all the things we did because it's personal. However, the last thing I can share with you is how we were able to remove it. And what happened was, I believe it was a Thursday night. And I remember going into a place where there were stars, and then there were all these angels, and they were so beautiful, and they were so big. They were massively large angels, huge, like size of mountains, that kind of big. And they were all running around in a circle. And in the circle was the demonic entity that was inside the child. But we were able to get the child to me before the entity was able to get inside her. So we just had to catch the entity in the etherics and then take it home that way. So there were all these archangels in a circle, and there's the middle, and all of a sudden Jesus Christ is standing beside me. And Archangel Michael's standing beside me. And they're like, okay, it's time to go. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? They're like, go in. And they told me to fly right into the demon and to put my hands onto it. And so I'm like, okay. And so I'm going into the circle, and all the angels are sending me energy, and it's like all this light is coming into me. And I go into the center of the sphere, and there is the demon, and I put my hands on it, and all I can feel is pure love. And the demon has an opportunity to either go to God and all forgiven, or you go to powder and you don't come back. And then Archangel Michael came, Jesus came, and he went in his sphere and he was gone. And then I woke up the next day remembering everything. And I called the mom of the little girl, and I'm like, how is she today? And she said, today's the first day that she hasn't had a nightmare in 13 years of her waking life. And her eyes were clearer. And she was able to breathe and feel her body in ways that she didn't know was possible. Because when you have demonic possession, it makes it so you can't feel your whole body, or part of your body feels different. Or thoughts will be not your thoughts, so you're like, where could this possibly come from? This isn't me. That's how you know something's not right. And so she drove back home and called me the next day and said, we think it's still here, we don't think it's gone. And so I went into their space, because I can remote view and go into people's homes if necessary, and noticed that all the demonic energy was over the entire house, and they were living in it. It was literally, had put all its discards of waste everywhere. So I drove out to where they lived in their city, and I taught them how to clear energy fields. I taught them how to use the galactic sun energy. I taught them how to put olive oil on your hands, and you put your hands to the sun and it charges your hands. And then you can put your hands in thick, dense energy and it won't touch you. And then you can blow it out through the window. That is one very simple way to move energy if you're brand new to energy work. There's thousands of things that you guys can do, but that is one of the easiest ones to do. So it took 7 days. And one thing that the angels taught me that was really important that I've used for the rest of my life is about the importance of salt. So when you want to get rid of thick, dense energy in your spaces, best thing that you can do is get kosher salt, and you put it on a plate, and you do it in a circle with a little circle that gets bigger and then 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 bigger. And then what you do is you crack a raw egg on the crystals of the salt. And then you say a prayer and ask God to remove any frequencies that are not the highest love of your being to be removed out of your space now. And you put them in the 4 corners of your room, if that is where the entity has been. And you can put it in your closet, any thick spaces. And there's different crystals that you can get that amplify with, like tourmaline and whatnot. But the angels taught me that day. And with every exorcism I've done out of a house, I was in California doing an exorcism out of a house once, it gets rid of it. Once it's been cleared, it clears all the energy. It makes a portal. So that was my very first demonic removal. I've had experiences where I've been at events where I've had friends' souls drop out of their body, and I can feel them dropping. And I went down to the bottom of this house where I felt this soul dropping. I literally picked it up with my hands as energy, and I ran back up to the person it belonged to, and I put it back in their body. And they looked at me and they said, "How did you know?" And all I could tell them is that I felt it. So I realized, looking through the past of my life and things that I've done, and that is just one of the many removals that I have done. I have done about a soul with multiple hundreds in her just a few weeks ago, where now she can live a life of peace again. And it takes time to grow out of all the old programming, but you can get there. And if you are struggling in this land and don't know what to do, feel free to reach out. I can at least give you some advice on things that you can do if you've been struggling or afflicted with it. And I thank you so much for listening. And I just want to share my stories of what I've gone through. And I've been ascending with God for a while now. And I have learned through the books that I have read, specifically Sarah Pisbay's dossier, they talk about what ascension is. They talk about what does it mean to ascend and what does that actually mean to the human. And do you want to know what it actually means? It means taking your human form into a state of immortality where you can live on earth and in the heavens in the physical matter at the same time. That is ascension. And to be able to ascend, you need to live a life of purity. You need to live a life of kindness, compassion, of love, and dedication to others. It's about working with the violet fire and ascended masters and learning their teachings. It's about performing miracles. And in the book that I read, they had quotes of Jesus from the Bible. And Jesus says that one is ascending. They know when. They practice and are offered daily miracles. And the more miracles they perform more often, shares with them how quickly that they're ascending into that state of consciousness. And I was advised that I have been approved by the karmic board to ascend this lifetime into a sainthood, into an ascended master. And right now I am an initiate of the Ascended Master Program with Saint Germain, and much more than that. And I have been doing miracle healings. I've helped souls out of comas recently through paralysis and unable to breathe or be able to communicate words. And after working with me for just a day or two, they're talking again. And one's walking, just walked 3 kilometers and out of the hospital, which I'll get into in another video. But I wanted to share that this is my journey. And I want to share with you the miracles that are happening here on this earth that no one knows about. And I feel the need to share that there's hope out there for everybody to get there. And I just want to be a beacon of hope to help you guys get there who is truly doing it. And I will provide you places you can go to read information, websites to join, books to read, decrees to do. And then when I do these decrees and I do all these learning, I get told the next part. So I read it, and then I am shown the next part of that training after the reading, and then the next stage and the next stage. And God has asked me to tell you what I'm learning. So in my paintings, I'm going to be showing you what I've learned so you can see it in a picture space. I'm going to share videos of it to share with you the miracles that I keep performing. I performed exactly 4 miracles just on Saturday, which I cannot talk about because I don't have anyone's permission. But know that I helped 4 souls ascend into another state of consciousness that helps their lives become so much more better. And that the beings that I'm connected to is because we're supposed to, and that you're ready to ascend. And one last thing I'll share with you that Jesus says in the Bible, that only souls that can take out demons can be angels in human form. And when I put all my miracles together, and all the people I've cured cancer, arthritis, demonic energies, and not really putting all my miracles together, putting this together. And then 3 days ago, I found out what all of it meant and how I'm going to be able to help and serve this world and humanity. And I've always had a desire to heal humanity's consciousness and to help them grow and raise their vibration any possible way I could. And I realized that this is how I'm going to do it in the full spectrum. I'm going this direction. And I've created clothing to help you ascend. I've created meditations to help you ascend. I send you my love and my I am to help you ascend. And I'm here. If you ever need to talk or need some advice, feel free to reach out. This is my mission. This is my love to you. I just want to see you be awesome and grow and become the being that you came down here to be so long ago and may have forgotten or got lost in the way of life or the Maya or the ego or whatever those things are going on in one's soul, which is normal. But ultimately, we're going to transcend into our pure beauty of our soul, the being that we came here to be. And I am very, very grateful that I'm able to share my journey with you of the 21st century. And so I am now an initiate of the Ascended Mastership program of this reality, of this land, of this world, of this universe, of this God. And I'm grateful for the opportunity and being allowed to share. Because sometimes you're not allowed to share anything. It's just kept really quiet into yourself. But today I went on a walk and they said, please share our message. So I am. And I want to thank Michelle Potentier for playing the singing bowls and being just the most amazing roommate, best friend ever, who is also going through the ascension process. And she has so much to share. And she is the most magical being with such beautiful stories too. And I'm excited to share with you all the beautiful souls that are on this path together. Have a great day.